Okay, so I just went live. Just without, I'm live. I think. Sorry, guys. You guys are seeing this. You guys shouldn't be seeing this, but you're seeing it anyway. That's why I'm halfway in the screen. So.
I've seen a lot of bankers, and I've seen a lot of cops. I've seen a lot of lawyers pull out all of the stops. I've seen a lot of children with their parents in their hands. I've felt a lot of women who refuse to understand. Well, I don't think I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. You see it in the papers, you read it every day. The riots and the fire going on in South LA. The muggers and the government, they're all wanting the same thing. They take you for your money and whatever else you bring. I understand why we're making such a fuss. And I don't think I understand what's come of all of us. And I don't think I understand why we take this world for granted. I just want to get right back to Guitar Players Planet. Take me. Guitar Players Planet. 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 Sunny skies, the smell of palm tree air. Looking back, I could never feel fair. The way that music has touched my soul, the way that the South holds its control. But I've got a new way to choose. I'm gonna start running back to the land of the new.
There we go. How you doing, guys? We made it.
Made it.
We made. I think we got audio. I think we got everything. Yep, we're good. So apologize to everybody. We had a lot of issues as far as some internet connection issues. So I do apologize about that. But we're here. We made it, and I just need to see the YouTube here. So let's see.
Yep.
Yep, I'm seeing it.
I'm seeing it too.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see, and I'm hoping everybody is switching over. If Jay, if you could just do me a favor and get the link from the last one and put it on there. We got 3 people waiting on the other link.
Yep.
And all right. And so the video is a little weird, but it is what it is. So I again, so welcome to AstroWorld. It's 9:30. We're a half an hour late, and and tonight. So first of all, let me say thank you to everybody as we close in on the 500 subscribers. Thank you so much for all the support that you guys have afforded to us. We all at AstroWorld and Simon, who's actually working right now. It's tomorrow over there. So thank you so much. We appreciate everything and help us grow the community. And if anybody ever wants to come on as a guest and share their experiences with astrophotography, feel free to hit us up on AstroWorld or a lot of people know our phone numbers at this point, so feel free to let us know. So tonight, what we're going to be talking about is I know we got some Rasa stories to talk about, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my trials and tribulations as far as securing my rig without an observatory, and I have a funny story about that. And that's pretty much. We're gonna kind of cut it short, I guess, a little bit tonight because we are half an hour late. But I know Jason and Eric had a little side conversation on the Rasa, and I unfortunately am not a Rasa owner, so I am not the expert by any means in it is. So I'm gonna throw it over to you and talk about your guys' trials and tribulations as far as the Rasa is concerned.
Come to the Rasa side. It's fast. It's F2.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen sooner or later. But the whole thing is that I have a 400 millimeter refractor.
Yeah.
And.
But it's not F2.
I know. I'm getting some feedback, but I'm hearing things 4 times. It's weird. You know why? Because I got 3 YouTube feeds going on
playing
at once. Let me turn off some of this stuff. There we go. We there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, now I can just hear you guys. I had 4 YouTube things going on. Anyway, so guys, tell me what Yeah, it's f2. It's a 400 millimeter, really fast scope. It's an 8-inch, right?
Yep. Yeah. The popular one out right now, I would still say, at least for right now, it's still the 8-inch because one, it's the least expensive, and it's the one that I think everybody, when the Rasas first came out, you only had the 2 flavors. You had the 11-inch and you had the Rasa 36, which is basically the 14-inch. And unless you owned your own planetarium, you can forget about getting the Rasa 36, because that's the Rasa 36 when it first came out. Geez, it was insane. Well, do you remember what it ran? It had to be close to 15 grand. Maybe more.
Yeah, it was super expensive. Whenever anything new comes out, they rank up that price tag.
Yeah. And then the 11 came out, which made things a little bit more reasonable. That's about 3,600, something around that price point.
Yep.
And then the rumors started coming about the 8-inch. and that's when everybody started really going Rasa nuts.
Yep.
And because it's only $1,600, because it's $1,700, and that's when. And I got one of the first ones that came out. I have one of the V1s, the version ones. But yeah, we were talking about the Rasa and all the new things that are coming out with. Now that you have the Rasa, and you also have the Hyperstar, and you have the big thing with F2 and stuff like that. So we were chatting, Jason and I, a little bit about filters, and I was also chatting about this is one of the negatives about any what the Rasa, at least the Rasa 8, and maybe it's just the version 1, maybe they corrected it in version 2, has been the tilt issue. It's been
I think it's still an issue in both, I think.
Yeah, and it's something that's very well known. I'm sure with Celestron and anybody who's part of, I have a Facebook group that I started, the Celestron Rasa owners Facebook group, and there's several members of that who are Rasa owners or soon to be Rasa owners. So we chat about these types of things. But one thing has been the tilt, and it's always around, it's around those edges where you get to some of the elongated stars. We have to crop some of that stuff out. Sometimes it's not that bad. It's tolerable, but it's still noticeable. And so one of the things that I was looking through on when I was surfing Cloudy Nights was how to resolve this. Someone mentioned the felt backing of the camera adapters. And if you're using a ZWO or or that type of camera, QHY, these one-shot colors or these CMOS dedicated Astro cameras, you usually are using the M42 adapter. And one thing about when you're shooting at f2, back focus is super, super critical. And when you're using the M42, according to the manual, the Rasa manual, it says your back focus should be 25 millimeters. So I decided to do a bit of an experiment where I had purchased, because I'm currently using the, let me back up, I'm currently using the Star Arizona filter slider. And if you measure that out, at least for mine, it measured out at about, even though it's advertised to be about 19.5, with everything, when you're mounting it on, it's actually about 20 or 20.5. It's actually there. And then you add on the camera, such as mine is 533 to 294s, which is 6.5 mil back focus from there, from the front of the camera to the sensor. So now I'm off about 1.5 millimeters. But okay. So I ended up getting, and I posted this on Facebook, trying to do an experiment. I purchased the ZWO MT2, the ZWO T2 filter, the tilter, sorry.
Right. Tilter, yep.
Yeah, I bought the tilter. Wasn't that much. It was about, $40 or something. I think actually maybe even less than that. And I bought some, and then I also bought a T2 to M42 adapter, and I had some of the ZWO spacers and stuff like that. Long story short, I got everything measured out to 25 millimeters. Still didn't work. Still had quite a bit of tilt and stuff like that. But I kept going back and forth, because the problem is with that tilter and your in the camera facing the objective, you can't get in there to tweak it. Yep. You have to keep taking it off, tweak it a little bit, put it back on, go through CCD inspector, and hopefully you're there. So after about a dozen times of that in the middle of the night, I got tired and bored and said, "The heck with it." So put everything back, and and then I put the Star Arizona filter slider back on, got everything back, and I took a measurement of the tilt. And then, so I saved that. And then the other day, then the next morning, we had quite a bit of condensation. And I decided to take the felt off of the back of the adapter.
Okay.
Of the M42 camera adapter. So now it's basically metal on metal to the Rasa. And let me show you here if I can pull it. If I pull this up, I'm show you this. And this was a little interesting. So let me share my screen. And I'm gonna go to here. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll make it.
So let me see if I can. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. But this was the tilt test with the filter slider on the Rasa, everything connected. And if you look down at the bottom here, there's information with your tilt, and it's at 1.47. Okay, and you can notice that you're pretty skewed off to the left there,
Top left. Yep.
Yep, to the top left. Now I took the felt off and ran the test again the following night, and don't know if you can see that, but take a look at the tilt.
Yeah, you dropped it in half.
We dropped it in half. So I'm like, what the heck is this? So it's just really weird. It makes you. I know you're gonna have tilt or a certain level of tilt and stuff like that. But it made me. It just surprised me because I had heard rumors about the felt on the back of these adapters causing some of the issues. So that was just surprising to me, was that. And then we started talking about the filters, these new filters that are coming out. You've got the L Extreme, the fast filters, because because everybody gives, when you got these fast filters, the more popular one was the Beta high speed F2 filters, and they don't give you as far as the bandpass, what their bandpass is. It's not documented.
Okay.
However, with the Optilong L Extreme, they say that their bandpass is 7 nanometers.
Yep.
Okay. I recently was on there was some post on Facebook with one of our members of our Rasa group who posted some really, really nice pictures which surprised me, with the Optilong the OPT Radian Triad Quad. And basically it's F4, not F4, but it's 4 nanometers. So I always thought, the limit, with the band pass would be 7 nanometers. So now it's, they've surprised me again. So now that Triad Quad is at 4 nanometers. So it's pretty impressive.
Tilt shift to be able to adjust the different tilts, and the fact that there's just really not a solid solution out there yet that's viable.
No, it's not. And there's been the talk, and it's posted on their website, but they don't have any prices yet. I talked about this maybe a few weeks ago.
Yep.
How Beta has the FCCT that they've been working on, and Michael Yeager, who has been testing that FCCT at one point back in December of last year. He was testing it out, and he has some beautiful images. And so and he really, he's doing some really cool experiments, and they're turning out really really awesome stuff with his Rasa 8. But he's put out a post just, I believe it was today, that he was actually he hooked up his Nikon to the Rasa, whereas there was all this talk about you can't because of the imaging circle and everything else.
Right.
You can't use a DSLR, but he's put that he's busted that myth. So.
Hey. Oh, hey, I haven't seen the pictures,
thing.
but from what you tell me, I mean, I think that's I don't know how that myth got out there, because if he's getting good images, and I don't know if he's just either cropping it or what. But
I don't think he's cropping it. No, yeah. I'm
Maybe
not
where
sure,
there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
exactly
absolutely.
it.
absolutely. So good for him.
Yeah,
Maybe we can get him on the show. And
yeah,
teach us some
that would
tricks.
be awesome. That would be awesome because it was everything he used to talk about, and I think he's using a full frame camera. And it was all this talk. It's a Nikon. He's using a Nikon Z50. I'm looking at the. Excuse me. I'm looking at the stuff now.
A
And
D50?
it's pretty cool.
You said D50?
Z Zulu.
Oh, Z.
No,
Okay.
Zulu. Yeah,
Okay.
Zulu 50.
The new
And,
mirrorless.
Yep.
yeah. So pretty cool.
That
It is really
cool stuff.
impressive,
Yeah.
and it's good stuff.
Okay.
So so the adventures of Eric and his Rasa 8 with the tilt, they continue.
Hey, you know what? And it looks like you got some good results going. It seems like I think that felt issue helped you a little bit.
Yep.
And you just gotta until there's becomes some sort of permanent solution with that. You may have to add some felt to the other side to just kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? And just kind of.
You know what? And that's the thing. Who knows? I mean, and Jason and I were talking this yesterday because maybe I should also take a look at getting some aluminum spacers because I was using the those paper and plastic spacers weren't probably the greatest to use. So he was recommending that I get some aluminum spacers, and they sell some. Yep.
The full set's only $45, which really isn't all that bad. And that's 10 spacers, goes from 0.1 all the way to 1.0. And they come in 42 and 48 millimeter diameters. So it gives you a pretty good selection to choose from to be able to take and space them out, in 0.1 millimeter intervals. It will severely help most people being able to get that perfect spacing, more so with the SCTs and the faster Dobsonian style scopes. Not so much with the refractors, because the refractors you're dealing with a focal tube, so it's going to be able to adjust a little bit more easily and be more forgiving. So,
Yeah. Oh man, it's been an interesting week.
Yeah, it has been. Renee just got a message asking how is it collimating it?
The
like
collimation,
that?
right?
Collimation with the Rasa. I'll be honest with you, Renee. I've never had to collimate it.
Yeah.
I've had it for over a year now. Maybe close. It's getting close. It's over the year now. I have not had to collimate it. It's been pretty solid.
Nice. And that's one of the I know we love to bash SCTs all over the place, but I mean, collimation is not as hard as what it seems. It's an actual very, very simple procedure, and once you get it down once or twice, as long as you're not, please, if you're going to collimate yourself, make sure you have either Bob's knobs or thumb screws or something on the front that are not going to be, you're not using a screwdriver or an Allen key. I've heard so many times in the field where people, I'm going to collimate my SCT. It's like, I don't like the focus. It's like 11:30 at night. Then all of a sudden you hear, what the hell is that? Oh man, I just hit my corrector with an Allen key. and then you scratch it. So just be careful if you're gonna do it. Yes, you really should do it with a star test, but have the thumb screws on the front. So you just use it. So if you hit it with your fingers, at least it's just a thumbprint and not a scratch.
Yeah. But with the Rasa, you don't have anything like that because it doesn't have that mirror.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep.
With the Rasa, or you're doing the Rasa, and so when it came from the factory from Celestron, they even say that even in the manual, and that you would probably never really need to collimate.
That's awesome.
The Rasa.
Well,
and like I said, I've had it for over a year, and I haven't had to touch it.
No, and that's one of the things like Mark has been talking about, maybe pulling the trigger on something like that. And that's his biggest hangup is I don't want to collimate. It's so complicated. And, we've talked about it a few times in the show, and Dan's reiterated that, it's really not that big of a deal unless you're carrying it around a lot. Then you're more apt to have to do a collimation. But
right.
The only
I keep it on my pier, so
yeah. The only kind of thing that I've had an issue with, and it's a different type of scope out there, and I forget what the exact technical term is for it, because it's like I don't know if it's like a Schmidt hybrid. It's the Vixen 200L, so the Vixen 200L, it's a Schmidt where, as far as the focuser, it's got a rear self focuser. It's got a big primary mirror at the back of the tube, but it's got a secondary in the front and a spider vane. It's very, very odd. It's kind of like a Newtonian, but it's not. It's a weirdest type of thing, and I forgot what the exact terminology is for that telescope. But collimating that thing is a complete disaster. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. I mean, so first things first. So it's got push pulls for the focuser. So you got to collimate the focuser first. So in order to collimate the focuser, you got to take a laser. You got to have a 2-inch laser. And you got to shoot it through the focus tube. You got to take off the secondary, put a little piece of masking tape on the hole where the screw is for the secondary, and look where the laser is on that tape and make sure it's in the center of that tape. That's how you know your focuser is collimated. Okay.
Wow.
Once that's done, you put your secondary back on. You leave the laser on. Now you got to fold back the laser back, and then you got to fold it out again. And it's really, really, really a difficult thing. I actually have it. I said to hell with it. I'm not doing a laser collimation anymore. I have one here that I'm supposed to star test this week, and it's just a mess. And I know my buddy Avi out there. And I don't know if he's watching. He's an astrophotographer from Long Island. He tried to do it with it, and it's just a mess. But it's hard.
Now, that's ugh. I heard because what is it? The Rishi Cretan. That's one that when you're mentioning collimating the focuser, that's one that they say you have to collimate the focuser before that's like step one. So that made me think of the Rishi Cretan when you have to collimate the focuser first before you collimate the secondary and the primary.
It is a modified Cassegrain. That's what it's called.
Okay.
It's a 6th order aspheric Cassegrain optical system.
Well, and I wonder what the purpose of that was.
Because Vixen likes to be special.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's an f9 8-inch, 1800 millimeter focal length. But it's a really odd system.
It's really weird.
It's definitely a challenge. I'll show it to you.
Yeah. And even with my 8SC, the only time I've ever had to really collimate it is when I purchased the Bob's knobs.
Yeah.
Once I purchased the Bob's knobs, and I had to recollimate it, for just that, and that was easy. That relatively, because all you're doing is collimating the secondary.
Yeah, that's it.
And
you can't touch the primary. You can't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and I actually did that with it. And I did a star test. I actually did that off of a star. I actually pointed at the time one of the bright stars. I don't know if it may be Vega or Capella or one of the two or one of those. And I collimated it with using Sharp Cap and Bob's knobs, right in my backyard in the middle of the night. It was easy.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, your normal telescopes that need collimation is really, really. I mean, when I was doing photography with a Schmidt, I mean, I would do it every time before I image because I had to. But I mean, literally, you pointed to a star, and once you got your system down, it's under 5 minutes, and you're done.
Yeah, yeah.
And
that was my first time ever collimating ever trying collimation. Is just because I got the Bob's knobs, it didn't take long at all.
I'm just trying to find. I'm trying to find a good picture of. Well, let's see.
But talk about the Rasa. The F2 systems, the Hyperstar, the Rasa, they have changed. They have changed the way we image so much. It's crazy, and they've changed so much. And because of them coming out on the market, as well as Jason and I were talking even about one-shot colors, how much how they've come out and they've taken astrophotography by storm. Just the ease of use versus having the monochrome, which were traditional monochrome. Yes, they are much more sensitive and all that, but the time it takes, especially if you're in a highly light polluted area or anything like that, or just if you're like me, a lazy astronomer, and you don't want to go through all of that. One-shot colors, they have just exploded.
The flip side of that is like what we're dealing with kind of for a better part of the country right now. If it's not a hurricane, we're dealing with smoke everywhere from the fires through the whole western coast. That's the other thing that's really complicating being able to do the monos. You may only get 1 day of clarity because the wind blew the right direction to give you a hole.
Mm-hmm.
And with how good the tri and quad band filters are getting a good quality OSC is going to actually be easier. And then using your post-process technique to be able to pull out and do bandpass to do fake mono is going to be a considerably easier workflow that you cut your shooting time by 60, 70%. But you increase your post-production by 70 to 100 by 70x because you're doing 3 passes and having to split it 3 different times and go back and recombine everything. So, you're quadrupling the amount of workflow you have to do. But, like even Dan was working on a project that I'm sure he'll share later with the Pelican Nebula, and the stuff that he's getting with it and his mono is phenomenal. But we can do pretty much the same thing with a good quality bandpass and looking at a tri or quad band to be able to pull the same details out.
We won't get the same because of the bare matrix. We won't get the same detail necessarily or sensitivity out of it as a mono. But if you're a photographer like me, or maybe even like a Jason, where sometimes you don't have a lot of time, or you just want to just get results as quickly as you can, you just want to go out there and just take images and just have fun and do all that. One-shot colors, man, they have really started taking things over, and you look at the 533 and then you got the 2600. Now you had the no amp glow, and you've got the new cameras that have come out. The new.
Speaking of Eric, you're getting attacked by a shark.
Yeah, am I? Yeah, there he is.
The shark's here. The dark shark showed up.
Oh,
there he is. What's up?
That's up.
What's up, player?
What's up, man?
I'm not the real shirt puppet.
You're not the real shirt puppet?
He's like this guy. This kid's like the 5th honeymooner.
I love those glasses. Those glasses look good, kids. I like those glasses.
Wait, listen. I'm
Yeah,
gonna read books.
go read books. That's awesome.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Shark Boy.
Well,
Shark Boy.
That's the real one.
You gotta love that age, man. He's 10, and he's a blast.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Yes, at that age, man, these kids are a crack up.
Since Jason brought it up, I'll show the Pelican since I got it up. So I can't take all the credit on the processing of this because this is the result of a class that I took yesterday with Ron Breacher that I took. And I was having some issues. I know that some of you guys out there that have been watching, I've been complaining and talking about WBPP and how it's screwed up and that. Turns out it wasn't WBPP. It was all me and a big brain fart. But so WBPP is fine, and I'm sorry to the people over at Pleiades Astro. So if you guys saw those postings, please disregard. It's all me being stupid. So that being said, I said, you know what? Since I figured it out after 9.5 hours of troubleshooting and not looking where I should have, it's kind of like one of those things. I think all three of us are techies, so it's kind of like trying everything and trying to fix everything before you find out if it's plugged in or not.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I know Eric had a nice comment about my new darks. So it somehow, some way, somebody's shown I guess a 1,000,000 candlewatt flashlight down my scope, and while I was taking darks, and the darks were pretty much white as a sheet, and calibrated out all the stars. so it only would show 2 stars.
But hey, it did its job.
It did do its job. It did it great. It did it too great.
It took out every star.
I wish it would have told me, "Hey, you idiot, change your darks." But it didn't. Not for whatever reason, I finally looked at the darks and saw that, and I took new ones, and everything went fine. But whatever the case may be. So here is the result of about 20 hours worth of data. And let me switch it.
I think we're still seeing you. Oh, there it goes.
There it goes.
No, because I'm looking at your camera, not Wirecast.
Wow. Nice.
He's got a. Yep, the 22nd, right? Yep. No, I was hoping to. I might still be able to make it in, but I have to work that day, so I don't know if I'll be able to catch it. So I may have to see if I can get a web feed of it. Okay.
Yeah, he is. Mm-hmm. Eastern U.S. Yep. And I did the first one, and it was awesome.
Yeah,
I did the first one, and it was awesome, and it's helped me out so much personally with my, just getting Pix Insight. It can be a bear, and it can be one of those where if you don't have a lot of time. It was just a learning curve and stuff like that. But I will say with William Keller and Ron Breacher, they made it so easy for me that I am so grateful for these series that they're doing right now, because they're inexpensive. And two, you can gather, for the short amount of time you're working with them, you can get so much knowledge from them, because they're about 2 hours long. You get so much awesome knowledge from them. So I'm looking forward to the next series, and just learning just the basics from them off of the first series has been, has helped out my post processing so much that I've almost gone from, I haven't abandoned AstroPixel processor, not at all, but it's almost like I'm doing a mix now. I'm doing APP initially for my integrations and splitting of the channels and all that stuff, and then I'll finish up in PI, and just doing that type of stuff. It's just made things better. So yeah. I really enjoyed the series.
So apparently when I went to the picture, nobody heard anything that we said because my audio sources were shot. So just in a nutshell, guys, I'm not going to say everything I said before. That is a collaboration. Ron Breacher, actually, I took a class with him with that data, and he helped me out with the processing on that. So I want to make that clear. Total disclosure, but if you ever want to kind of brush up on your technique, or if you want to learn, he does everything from the very, very, very beginner to the more advanced, and he'll get into the techniques of anything as far as integrated calibration frames, all the way up to really, really intense pixel math kind of equations that that you kind of got to get down, especially when you start doing narrowband. But he will teach you anything, and he'll teach whatever you want, and he does it in a way that's actually it's welcoming to me, because it kind of is like, it's not slow, but he does it. He doesn't speak down; he speaks with, and I think that's really good. So if you get a chance, go check him out, astrodoc.ca or Masters of Pix Insight, and that's all I'll say about Ron.
Well, and it's the thing, like because I'm so new into Pix Insight, I've actually been looking at trying to make some time to spend to get either a one-on-one or get into one of his master classes, just to get a better grasp of what he's doing and understand better of PI.
The master classes are really good. I'm hoping, Eric said, I don't know if everybody caught it. Eric went to the first one, but I'll be going to the repeat of that next week. But his one-on-ones, you get a lot out of him. I mean, I think it's like $80 an hour, but I mean, you get a lot out of him. But
yeah, I'm looking. Like I said, for it's $35 for the
newbie.
Pix Insight for the newbie.
Yep.
And it's 2 hours long, and you get time spent with him, and also with Mr. Keller, and they go through both sides. They go through one-shot color and mono on how to process. They get you started with the workflow on processing, and they get you some a good starting set of icons for your workflow, and have them all laid out so you can go step by step. Then after, and then soon after the seminar, you have access to the video. They record the seminar. You have access to it for like maybe about 3 or 4 months, so you can go back and log back in and refresh yourself. If you say you're like, oh, I missed this step, or I didn't understand this, you can actually go back and rewatch and watch the video of everything again to help reacclimate yourself, and you can take notes and all that stuff. So that was just an awesome series. It's really helps us out, the guys who are really just getting started with PI and kind of intimidated by it and unsure. He makes this so easy, and it actually it's not that, it's not it brought back, it gave me a good a better level of comfort, with it, and I'm not as intimidated by it as I once was.
Yeah, because when you get the practice with it, you got somebody that teaches you, you gain more confidence and more. You're able to cut. You're not afraid to cut. Oh my God! If I move this slider, my whole picture is going to be screwed up. No, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? There are certain things that you could do, and there's certain things you could undo, and
Yeah,
they
exactly.
show you all that.
No, that's one of the things that I found. PI is actually much more forgiving than even APP because the levels of undo, and if you cancel out before you apply it, you haven't done anything. So
Exactly.
and you know what? Even if you do apply it, you could actually go into the History Explorer
It's history. Yeah, History Explorer.
and erase everything from a certain point and just move forward.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't like it. I know that my noise reduction was too high 18 steps ago. Okay, you know what? You could actually go back 18 steps as long as you're saving it right.
Yep.
You go back 18 steps and then start from there and start all over.
Yeah.
And I've done that numerous times. Just not liking the way I process something and step back 5 steps and go back through a little bit more methodically.
Yeah.
Yep. No, maybe I just did a little bit too much star reduction, a little too much color correction, whatever.
Yeah. Yep. And so if you guys ever have a chance to check out those series or have some time to spend with Ron, take advantage of it because he is a wealth of information, and he's more than happy to. Like to Dan's point, to share that information with you, and he won't talk down to you. I mean, he's just really easygoing, and I think he's just a great teacher. I really do.
Yeah, he really is. He really is, and he's got a nice demeanor on how he teaches. So
yes,
well,
I totally.
How intimidating can a guy that wears Hawaiian shirts every day really be?
Yeah. He's awesome. He's awesome.
It reminds me of a professor I worked with at U of M. The guy wore flip-flops and a Hawaiian shirt every day to class.
Nice.
And he was the most chill, fun professor. And I was there as an employee. I was there working for Ford Motor. And so they get down to the final, and they didn't schedule it properly with Ford Motor, so I was still there to film it. He goes, take the test, and if you pass it, I'll get you the credits. I'm like, all right. I didn't have a book, didn't take any notes. I just filmed for 16 weeks. That was the second highest in the class.
Nice. Nice.
So I have like 6 credits or 4 credits, whatever it was, at University of Michigan and never actually attended class.
No, that's awesome.
No degrees, but
hey, you gotta love it.
Yep.
And but yeah, I mean, getting back, I mean, you learned things, as far as your darks.
Well, I just learned not to be dumb, and listen, it was just. I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know if I got a picture of it. If I find it, I know it's on the Facebook.
Yeah, it's on our chat.
As we're talking, I'll look for it, and just so I could show you guys how dumb I really am, because I have some really dumb moments. Because no one said I was the smartest person in the world, but you know what? And I'm not afraid to show. If I could get a laugh out of my own misfortunes, I'm okay with that. But
Mark said some OSC is great. I won't dispute that, but mono with narrowband is still king of detail. I'm not going to argue with you on that, Mark. I totally agree. I mean,
oh wait, did Jason just have to send it to me?
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
Did Jason just send it to me?
Yeah.
You're wild.
What's that?
The picture of the
I just happened to have everything up because I'm used to searching it. So
yeah, he had this one waiting in the wings. This guy. All right, so here we go. So I'll show you what my Master Dark looked like. There we go, and then go back to what Facebook was it? No, not that. Oh, come on. That's what my Master Dark looked like. Not that little thing in there, but that's what it looked like. See all that white? I don't know what that was. I don't know what happened. But that's I can't even make an excuse on something. I can't even say that I left the lens cap off. It's like half of it was on and half of it looks like a big light leak from somewhere. Maybe the camera got rotated or something. I don't know. But that's what my Master Dark looked like. and that's why all my stars were calibrated out. so, so anyway, that was my big brain fart for the week. I think it's going to be a new segment, brain fart of the week. I'm starting to, as I get older, I'm having more and more of them. So,
well, and that's the thing. Like, I haven't touched my rig in like 3 weeks. So finally got home from 2 weeks of work or 3 weeks of work. And I'm in part of the beta group for the ASIR. So they just gave us the 1.5. We're on our third revision of 1.5. And was playing with some of the features and things like that we've got to get QC'd before we can get it to release candidate. We're almost there. It's getting really close.
Looking forward to it.
But I got on there last night and imaged the brain fart again. So it's sleep.
Yeah.
The Veil Nebula and Witch's Broom.
Yep.
And one of the features that they have in this one that everybody knows about and it's coming is the autofocus. Holy crap. I am so excited for this to come out. They have done such an amazing job. I cannot brag on the guys enough about what they've done. So last night, just to test, I did 5 different stars. I did Vega, I did Polaris. I went over and actually focused on planetary. So I swung over to Saturn and Jupiter.
Right.
And then I did Arcturus just to see how it would do. And every one of them focused. It was within about 25 points of its focus metric, which was very stable. It was reliable every time. And, just for S&Gs, I went and did almost 6 hours of imaging. So it's 36 10-minute darks or 10-minute lights. I did my darks and lights catalog, or darks and dark flats, and bias all my calibration frames this morning. Okay. Haven't had a chance to sit down and actually process any of this stuff yet. But looking back at the log, everything was successful. It did an autofocus at a 2-degree change and at every hour interval, and also did it post meridian flip, and everything went really well. So I'm super excited about what the guys have in store and what we'll hopefully have coming out here in the next, hopefully 2 weeks, but it could be as much as a month.
Nice.
I'm just excited. ZWO has been on the ball, for what they've been doing with ASIR and its software, and now they've got the new cameras that they've announced that are on pre-order. They've got 3 or 4 of them now.
They got 3 out. There's a few more things they still have up their sleeve that they're hoping to announce by the end of the year, from what I hear.
Yeah.
But the biggest one, they just did a new mono camera, the 294 mono.
Yep.
We've got the 2400, which is a 4/3 color. And then they came out with a new planetary, the 486.
462. 462.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've got a lot of stuff hitting the market. They've got a lot more still that they're working on. They did announce, so we can kind of talk about it. They are going to do a 2600 mono.
Yep.
So that's going to be huge to keep an eye out. So they're actually going to do the APS-C that we talked about, doing an APS-C mono. So I think that's going to be huge for them. It's not that they're the only player in the game, but they are doing so much so rapidly and being competitive.
Yeah,
it's a huge game changer.
It is. They have got some serious market share. With everything they're bringing out. They've got the. They don't have the market, but they've got a really chunk of it. Especially when
they got a stranglehold on the CMOS market, man. They really do.
They really do.
Yeah. Well, and dollar for dollar, what they're doing with the camera, because it's the same sensors. The only place that some of the other ones are really shining is just what they're doing with the firmware, because they're all the same chip.
Yep.
Everybody's
all the same chip.
Exact same chipsets. So it's really just what they're doing in the firmwares. And ZWO does tend to kind of neuter things, but they neuter it into such a way that it's really the sweet spot of what the camera is going to be capable of.
Mm-hmm.
The QEs are pretty much the same between the different brands that are using the same chips.
Yep.
But it's kind of a neck and neck race right now between QHY, Altair, and ASI or ZWO, in the feature sets that they're offering for each of the different chipsets and different camera platforms.
Yeah.
So, it's exciting, and I've talked about it numerous times. I'm a lazy guy. I just want to get out there, put up my ASI Air, shoot, and go to bed, and it's great. And I know eventually it's going to kind of outwear its welcome, and I'm going to have to get a little bit more creative and spend more time maybe with an Eagle product or something like that. But for now, I mean, I fired a beta last night. I stayed up long enough to get to the Meridian flip and knew that it was good, and I went to bed.
Yeah.
I was up until 11 o'clock last night, and I slept. I set a light alarm to get up about 5 minutes before it finished the last image, watched it finish the last image, watched it park the scope. And I'm like, well, everything went good. We're in a beta. Everything worked. Right. I can sleep at night.
Well, that's a good segue into the securing the equipment.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I know what I do, and I'll run upstairs and I'll get what I do. But what do you guys do as far as if you guys go to bed? What do you guys do? Do you guys do anything special to kind of? I mean, I don't know. You're in Chicago, you're in Arizona. I don't know how much depth there is in Arizona, but Chicago, New York, maybe there's the people. I mean, people go into other people's cars around here. But do you guys do anything special, or do you guys have any ideas to kind of help these guys out?
Eric?
Well, for me, honestly, because I don't actually live in Chicago proper, I'm more in the northwest suburbs, and more in like a suburbia / rural farmland area. But I live in a subdivision, and honestly, no, I have a few cameras that are cloud based, that are weather resistant. I have a couple Arlos that are outside. Okay. So I can keep an eye, that I keep an eye on things, and I have my my Ring, camera. So that's in the front of the house. So if anybody goes around, it'll probably, it'll let me, it'll buzz my phone and stuff like that. And I have a fenced in yard, and I've got my dogs. My dogs are notorious, Got
Titan, man.
Titan is notorious. If he senses anybody, coming around, he goes nuts anyway. So
my dog's not as big as yours, but it's probably just as loud.
Yeah.
But
I've been fortunate.
No, we haven't really had a security issue here, but I do just because I'm a cautious person anyways. I've got cameras on the front of my house, and I have a camera pointed in the back of my house, position my scope in such a place that I can see it on my infrared camera at night. And I do have motion sensors set up so it will trigger an alarm if it does trigger like somebody walking. It usually goes off when the neighborhood cats run through, but most people don't know I have it back there so that they wouldn't even come look.
Actually, I got a picture of kind of what I got, and a friend of mine kind of suggested this to me, and this was actually kind of cool. Less than $50. It's a motion sensor. It comes with 2 motion sensors. Can you guys see it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's 2 motion sensors, and that little base station goes either upstairs in your room or whatever, and it makes an alarm if anybody goes through it. So I got one on each side of the house, and I have it set up so it doesn't go towards the ground, so the cats don't, and the rabbits and whatever else doesn't go. But if it's somebody that's tall enough, like over 3 feet, it's going to make a noise. And I made a little mistake yesterday when I was another brain fart number 2 of the week. So I was doing some imaging on Sunday night, and Monday morning I got up early to bring the scope out, so I forgot I had the alarms on, and I walk out and the dogs go, the wife starts freaking out. I mean, this thing is loud. It's like wee 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 wee. It's like kind of crazy, but it works great. It works awesome. And for $50, I mean, that's no problem. The next thing is the cameras.
Yeah.
And that I don't have an idea because I know that we were talking. I believe what is the right thing? Jason's got something going on.
Yeah, so that's the live feed from my camera in the backyard. Of course, I don't have my scope up yet, but the white scope there in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah, with telegizmos on it, or not that little chair, right?
No, not the little chair.
Like it's in there,
But yeah, so I mean that gives me a good eye on what's going on with my scope. And I can see people moving through. I can see 98 feet of infrared. So I can see heat signatures moving through the backyard. I won't get the color detail.
I remember us talking about using night vision cameras with a telescope.
It's problematic if you point it the right direction towards the house where the infrared's originating from.
So yeah, I guess if you're doing narrowband, that's one thing, but broadband,
yeah,
you're gonna have now. Does it really like show up? I mean, does it?
Well,
because I know you've had an issue with it.
I got kind of excited because I thought I had found a new astrological body, comet or something moving through. I got a little more excited than I should have. Come to find out that when you don't have a bandpass filter on, infrared does kind of reflect off the inside of your scope, and it does create a little flare. So
what kind of camera would you suggest to get for night vision and dealing with a telescope, or is it just positioning?
A lot of it's going to be positioning. The hard part is without infrared, you're not going to really be able to get unless you use a FLIR, which is still using a form of infrared.
Right.
The biggest thing is you have to put it at such a level that it won't hit the optics of your scope. My problem was I was shooting back towards the house a little bit higher and closer than I normally would have. I was tracking something a little bit more to the south west, so I got the reflection in the glass. But now most of my targets are more to the northeast and northwest and track up through meridian. So they typically point away, so it's not as big of an issue for me. It's just one of those things. The unfortunate thing, to put it in the right place to never hit your scope, it's low enough that people can take and damage it. And they can kind of counteract what you're trying to do by capturing them if they're being malicious in their intents. Right. I have mine up at 10 feet, so it's not the ideal area for imaging, but I would much rather my equipment not disappear and ruin a night of imaging than not.
Yeah.
So
okay, so there's some good info for you. So eventually,
Mark was saying, he's paranoid. But
so am I. That's why I'm asking.
Well, and it's different for me because here I've got block walls all around me. So I've got 6 to 7 foot block wall.
I got a 4 foot chain link.
Yeah, well, and that's what a lot of people have. And if people in your neighbors can see it, then people that have ill intent can see it.
Yep.
People have to physically break the perimeter of my backyard to be able to see that I have a scope back there, or they have to know that I have a scope back there.
Right.
Nobody's going to be stupid enough with the motion sensors and stuff between my neighbors' 2 houses and their motion lights to try even walking into my backyard, even though I've got an RV gate on one side and another gate on the other side. I have cameras that are going to capture you coming up to it and walking through it. I'm going to have you on camera good enough that I can prosecute with a fairly good result if I had to.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I've got a freaking 5K camera on the front of my house. I can pull a license plate off even with brake lights on if I have to, and I can take the night vision, and I actually have software that'll take and turn it into color so I can get car colors.
Gotcha.
So do I want to go that route? No. Have I had to use it? No.
Right.
But I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly.
And it's just the inherent nature and the way that I work. That's what I do at work. I don't design it to the lowest common denominator. I have to design to the highest and modify to the lowest.
Right.
It's just the nature of how my workflow is. So,
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's some good points. So I'll eventually get one or two cameras for the backyard, and probably just one to keep the infrared down. Point it around the corner.
well, and the thing is, you don't have to have it necessarily right on the scope. If you have a little bit of illumination, I would just go non-night vision and just do color. And if you got a little bit of light that can hit the scope, even if it's a red lamp, that won't cast issues with the scope itself. A lot of the guys use the red floodlights.
Yep.
Do that and use it in color mode, so you don't use the infrared if you feel it's going to be an issue.
I don't know. I do a ton of narrowband for my backyard. I even do Dark Shark Nebula in narrowband. So I mean,
But the thing is part of the band that we're working in is the same band that infrared works in, because we are looking at far infrared light, especially with our deeper body dark space nebula.
Yep.
You're dealing with a lot of infrared color band. So, you're going to inherently have bleed if it does strike the optics. So, it's find a place that's going to be most conducive to not interfere with your imaging.
Yeah, Mark actually said look into the Arlo system.
That's what I actually have. I have the Arlo.
Yep. That's a good system, but I also have a Synology NAS, which I'm going to be using to run the surveillance. Mm-hmm. So that's not going to work for me. And I just bought a nice 24 port PoE switch. So, I'm kind of psyched. I'm gonna have like 23 cameras floating around probably by the time I'm done. But
I've got 7 on my house, and 3 of them are in. But
your house is probably a lot bigger than mine. I got a little, Levittown house, which is with no basement. So, let's see, Scott. My buddy Scott's on. Okay, so here's a question. There you go. Has anyone had somebody actually mess with your gear? No, I haven't. It's all paranoia, I'm sure, but you know what? I'd rather err on the side of caution. Yep. Than like Jason said, I'd rather err on the side of caution than have somebody all of a sudden walk away with, $4,000 to $10,000 worth of equipment, depending on what you have out there.
Exactly.
And Mark will probably be mad at me for saying this, but he's paranoid, but he's got the EQ8. Yeah. Nobody's going to walk out of the backyard with that thing.
No one's going to lift that up on their shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a small crew of guys to be able to take and relocate that. Plus the 20, 30 pounds of stuff that he's got on top, and all the cabling and everything going between the house and whatnot. So I understand his paranoia, but at the same time, he's joked about, who's going to walk back there and F this thing out of the house that by the time that they start moving, I ain't going to hear it.
Right.
No, but I do know some people in my astronomy club that actually was tired, left their stuff in their car, and the next morning it was gone.
Well, yes.
That's it's a shame. I mean, a friend of mine lost a nice Takahashi with that. And it's a shame that people do that. But as far as even like star parties, star parties, I think I've been going to star parties for 20 plus years, and I think there was only one incident in that entire 20 years of any star party that I've ever heard of. I've gone to multiple star parties. One incident out of them all that actually somebody had something stolen, and it was a couple eyepieces. But most of the people in this hobby, and I'm hoping that I'm saying that I'm pretty much correct in this, that it's a very honor-bound, tight society that we have here, and I don't think that anybody that is really, truthfully into this, into this hobby that we do, are going to go and steal somebody's camera or something like that. I don't think that 99% of us are not going to do that.
Yeah, because and I'll agree with you there, because we all know what we go through to get this stuff. We all know
Yeah.
the expense of it all. So we all understand. We all understand that. So I think we have a mutual respect for one another to know what type of investment we've made into this stuff, that we're not gonna. We know what it takes. We're not going to screw with your stuff. You mean you work hard, to get this stuff, and vice versa. So everybody, when you're in this hobby, you have a really good, solid group of people. So it's very rare.
And I've not worried about people damaging my gear, but like when I was doing wide field landscape astro, so doing Milky Way shots out in the desert, I didn't really worry about people taking my gear. I worried about animals knocking it over. That was a bigger concern. Between the javelina and something getting spooked, there's enough things out there. And in parts of
armadillos.
Armadillos rolling around and knock your tripod down.
The bigger thing I had to worry about is like out in Queens Valley, where we did a lot of our imaging, it's a free range cattle range. So ranchers lease that land from the state. It's all state trust land. You've got these freaking longhorns out there just lumbering with these giant racks. There's 2 or 3 times you're sitting there and something's crashing through the bush and you light up with your red light and out comes this giant, 1,800-pound freaking cow with a giant horns, and you're like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. That's something that I don't think we worry about in Chicago and Long Island.
It's uniquely Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's just uniquely not our area. So Mark said, remember the time an owl took out my camera?
Yep. Yeah, we've had an owl that was chasing something knock over a camera and damage the lens. I've had a couple of buddies that have suffered that. And doing storm chasing, of course, we've had cameras blown over from wind gusts and stuff like that as we're doing lightning shots and trying to film tornadoes and whatnot. But that's just a case of your environment, not necessarily people being malicious. So it's a different environment.
Yeah, Rini said I get lots of bird crap on the telegizmo. Yeah, we all have that problem.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and I even, for my own peace of mind, I actually even took out, a small property, insurance policy. The same one I use that I have for my wife's wedding rings and stuff like that.
Homeowner insurance.
It's because I got an extra one. So instead of using my homeowner's insurance, we have a crazy deductible because it has to be like 1 or 2% of your home's value or something like that is your deductible. This one is a very inexpensive policy that covers all of my stuff and my wife's jewelry, and so in case something like that should happen, my biggest fear is, okay, if I've left something, God forbid, because I keep all of my, a lot of my gear, like in my basement or something, and if there's a flood,
Yep.
That's what I'm concerned about.
And being a business owner, I own my own company. So for me, I have 3 layers of insurance. I have my regular homeowner's insurance. I have a general UI that covers, like you're saying, the jewelry, and I do a lot of photography, so I have a ton of photography gear, all my computer stuff, all my Astro gear. It's not cheap, and I have a large enough UI that it's all covered. But also in owning my business, I own a very expensive piece of hardware, so it's the cost of a small house, and it fits into a 20 by 30 by 18 road case. But it costs more than most luxury cars. So I have a business insurance that covers that additionally on top of my homeowners, but they co-insure.
Yeah,
and they have to because it's in the house. So if the house burns down, both insurance companies get to pay for it.
Yep, there you go.
It's those things that I unfortunately have to spend a fair amount of time being concerned with, because either it gets stolen out of a car in transit or something happens. I don't want to be without, because we've invested a fair amount of money in having these things.
Yeah. Dog.
Titan wants daddy time.
Yeah, I know. He was daddy time.
My dog's just sleeping.
Yeah. This one, they never. It's like they never sleep. It's like they run around, and they run like a herd of buffalo.
I have a
That's that
4-year-old that's
stampede.
an elephant, so I can mildly relate.
It's crazy. So, so what do you guys what do you guys oh, you showed us your Pelican. What do you got planned for the coming weeks or days? I know, what do you guys, what are your target plans, now that we're into fall?
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, over the past week and a half, since I've now become more, I guess, confident about the pier and the meridian flip and all that, I got to be honest with you. I've been getting so much data that I'm behind on the processing. So
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean,
get you through winter.
Yeah,
I got 20 hours of the North American, or 20 plus hours, that I haven't even touched yet. I got another 10 on the Dark Shark, regular broadband this time.
That's good to know.
Guys, do not take Dark Shark narrowband. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say it's a nebula. Doesn't mean you do a narrow band with it.
The Dark Shark just looks darker with narrowband. So
yeah.
I think I'm just gonna put it together anyway, just to see what it actually looks like.
that would be interesting.
Yeah.
So
you have to show your results.
Yeah.
See if I get anything with that. I'll get like the dark spot on the eye, maybe. That's about it. But I guess wintertime's coming, so I'm thinking about, believe it or not, probably getting a better shot of Orion with the Running Man.
Yep.
Probably do that. Let's see, what else was I thinking of? What else is in the wintertime? I got to look at my list. I'm so tired.
Well, I mean, you have Pleiades, of course. You have all of Taurus now.
Pleiades, yep.
You've got Orion that's out. There's a lot. I mean, the Flaming Star and the Tadpole are going to be coming up pretty soon, so they're going to be more, at a higher elevation. So there's quite a bit of stuff that is out there now. But even like Orion, there's so much stuff just in Orion. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, and I spent a fair amount of time photographing Orion last year as I was doing testing. So I'll probably do a few more passes on it this year. I'll do more of the North American and Pelican. I'll probably do a bit more work on my, I guess, a quad body, doing Orion and Flame and Running Man and Horsehead.
Sure.
To get those four, do a little bit more color detail, maybe with the Extreme this time. Better on my processing. Mark has been doing some stuff with the M27, and he's been trying to get me to do that with my 102 Explore Scientific.
Okay.
Just haven't. I'm hoping maybe tonight, because it's only 7:45 here. Throwing up the 102 tonight and seeing how it behaves with the beta.
Okay.
But do some deep imaging maybe on the M27 or Andromeda is a little low for me right now, but I'm going to do a few more passes in Andromeda this year because I haven't been happy with the color I've been getting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff now. I mean, I've been doing Andromeda with the Rasa lately. I've got with the Rasa. I've got 5 hours, and I think Rasa.
Are you doing mosaics then?
No, it captures the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah, I got the whole. With the 294 and at the 400 millimeter, I can get the entire. I can get the entire galaxy in the frame. So.
Yeah, the 400. Yeah, I can get it in my 400 too. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, and then I've been playing around with open star clusters right now. I've been playing around with those. I just captured. I was doing 10-second light of the coat hanger.
Nice.
And then I was also doing maybe 30 seconds or 30 second or 30 second or a minute lights of Alpha Percy, where that's a nice, good size open cluster with with is it Miriac? Is the name of Alpha Perseus? Is it Miriac?
Mirfac?
Mirifac or something like that.
I
Mirifac.
think it's Mirfac.
Mirfac, yep.
Yeah, Mirifac. So that's which is basically that's the largest star in Perseus, and it's got a nice open cluster right all around it. So I've been going after that, but I'm looking forward to. I mean, you've got the Rosette coming.
Yeah, it's Mirfac. Yep, the Rosette. Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
The Rosette's coming back, and then I've been seeing some really good shots lately of the elephant lately that have been pretty cool.
Elephant trunk, yeah.
Yeah, so there's quite a bit of stuff out there, and I'm actually thinking of switching out and taking down the Rasa and putting up my 127 millimeter and going into. I want to get deeper. That's one of the things I really want to do is like when I get this RC is I actually want to get deeper into the nebulae clouds. Mm-hmm. But I'm actually going to work on. Let's take a look at the Cave Nebula.
Okay.
You know, with get into the Cave Nebula, and with that 533, that smaller sensor and that smaller pixel, I can get a much more narrow field of view, so I can really get into that cloud. So I'm looking forward to trying those things.
Cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, I might actually try Heart and Soul this year. I kind of blew them off, even though they're easy they're close enough to get in my open sky area for my backyard. I just never imaged them. One of the cool things that we're doing for our son's that will be arriving in February, we're doing a space theme for his room. So it's kind of
nice.
Cool. So like tonight we found some really cool fabric. My wife and I, as we were getting some stuff for her sewing business. Oh, my camera just went out. Is Dan deleting me?
Yep. No.
Someone just mentioned something about Mars. Renee, yeah, there's been a lot of shots of Mars.
That wasn't me. That was you.
Yeah, that was me. The battery died in the camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Mars opposition's coming up real soon.
It's October 13th.
13th?
Yep, October 13th. I was looking that up there.
So yeah, that's gonna be good. It's gonna be the biggest. So
yeah,
it's gonna be as big as the moon.
Yeah,
It's not gonna be as big as the moon, guys. Don't.
No. But because we were just talking. Like I was gonna actually try my hand at solar.
Yeah, you were talking about that offline before, yeah.
And just so I can tinker around with it, because I bought an inexpensive white solar filter, to just work with, because I have a Celestron 8SE, and just so I can just get my feet wet. I'm not doing anything special or anything like that. It's just I just want to see it and see how well I. So.
No, like I said, white light. It's a lot easier than H alpha or calcium or any other element you want to shoot the sun at.
Yeah, I've heard about all that stuff with narrowband, and it's a totally different monster than doing nighttime narrowband. It's totally different types of filters and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got a friend that runs this observatory out on Long Island. It's called the Avalon, and he has got a 127 Explorer. And surrounded by, there's 4 different types of solar filters that you get. It's H alpha, calcium, phosphorus, and something else. I forget what the other one was. But he has them all surrounded, so all 5 scopes move together. Mm-hmm. So he's got white light on one, and it's like a turret. It's like a gun turret. It all moves like this, and he's got some sort of crazy mount on it. I mean, it holds like 100 pounds or something like that. It's some ungodly thing, and it literally he does live viewing of the sun in 4 different wavelengths. 5 different wavelengths. He got white light too.
Wow.
So it's pretty wild. He does it live. He does it on YouTube, and he does it on a couple other things. That when it's nice out on the weekends, he does it. So
okay, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm just gonna get the 8SC, take the Rasa down, and just put the 8SC up with its filter, and I'm just gonna fire it up, hook it up to my laptop and run SharpCap. Get it started with ASI Air, so I can get it pointed properly, and then then disconnect the ASI Air and just run everything off the laptop and run SharpCat or something like that, just so I can see it and show off a little bit. It's not even anything special. But just to say I can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like when I sat there and I was out with my niece with my Dob, my 18-inch Obsession, and I said, you know what? I got a DSLR here. Let me just slap it on there and see if I get a shot of Saturn. And Saturn and Jupiter were both out at the same time. So I said Saturn, Jupiter, did it, and for what it was worth, I mean, my first planetary shot. And an 18-inch scope, probably about 2 minutes of video. Right. I was able to get the red spot. It just happened to be out. I didn't plan it that way. It just happened to be out. And it's a little fuzzy, but I got a nice, decent shot of Saturn for what it's worth.
Cool. Yeah.
But, if imagine if it was not Altaz tracking, and it was actually I was like taking the video. And then while I was still taking the video, moving it back into the frame, moving it back into the frame. And you know what? AutoStacker did a great job with kind of figuring it out. It doesn't matter if it's drifting or not because you're doing video and just chopping the video.
Yeah. Because there's nothing other than stacking the video, the AVI. There's no other calibration files or anything like that, is there?
Nope.
Just that. Okay.
No,
it's doing a averaging, so you can set the different averages. I haven't done it yet, but I really want to play with it.
Yeah, you could do that, and you could also do region of interest. So it literally tells the program you put points all around the planet, and it tells you where that planet ends. So it just tracks that whole. It doesn't matter if it's moving or not. It'll just track the planet, put it right in the center, and it'll stack it all. It'll do the translation. It'll do the rotation. If you have anything like that, or the drift that you have, it'll take care of everything.
Nice.
And it's a free program.
Hey, I like free.
Free is good.
Free
Fitty. Free Fitty is my favorite.
Yeah, Free Fitty is my favorite.
Free Fitty.
Free Fitty. So, but yeah, so like I said, I'm going to mess around with the one, with some solar, in the next couple of days, and who knows, maybe I'll post something to say, hey, Eric's first solar shot.
There you go.
But it'll be fun. And
the bubble nebula, George said, the bubble.
Yeah, I was just noticing that. Yeah, the bubble nebula will be pretty cool. Who knows? Maybe I'll like I said, I'll grab my F7 refractor and try to go a little bit deeper in and get a little bit more narrow and have some fun with it. Find a few things that I can really get deep into. And using that OAG, I think we talked about this at one point. I'm using my off-axis guider with this refractor. Usually you would see this over 1,000, or 1,200 focal length, but I'm using it with my F7 refractor, and it's been awesome.
Good.
So
Good. Yeah, I was using. I actually have a. Actually, I sold it. I sold it to somebody on Cloudy Nights, but I had a ZWO OAG that it wasn't worth it on a 400 millimeter refractor. I mean, it wasn't.
No.
I was gonna put it on my 970 millimeter Newt, but it was putting too much weight on the focuser, and it was a big mess. So I sold that. I was able to actually sell the rotator, the Moonlight rotator.
Okay.
So that's gone. Should have kept it, and I sold it anyway. But I ended up buying $400 worth of adapters to put a $99 manual rotator on the scope. But we live and learn.
Yeah.
What else did I get? Anything else? No, I just got the EAF that I'm gonna put on this guy, on the Newt, and hopefully I'll have first light on that. When this lovely foggy smokage stuff disappears off of Long Island. Thank you. Thank you to the nice little baby reveal party that we had over in California. That I wasn't even invited to, by the way, so I don't need your smoke. So you can keep that.
Right.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
But it's covered. It's covering 2/3 of the country right now with smoke.
Yeah, it's bad. The funny thing is like Mark was saying the other day, oh, the smoke, I can't shoot anything. I can't see any stars. So I went out last night. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's chin clear over here.
Yeah.
So I ended, like I said, I imaged for 6 hours last night. I could have imaged for almost 8 because we're getting longer nights right now. So, if I had gotten started right at 8:30, I could have imaged until almost 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can get 7.5 hours solidly. I'll start losing stuff on the front and back if I push to 8 right now, but a couple more weeks I'll be able to push to 8. But I'm going to be gone in the next 2 weeks, heading to Detroit for a pop-up job that landed Monday. So hopefully I can get all the bugs worked out so we can run the show from my parents' house. So you'll be watching hopefully from my parents' dining room. I spend a couple weeks with them and get a quick little vacation in the meantime. And then I head to Tulsa in the middle of October. So
Okay.
try to fit a couple of imaging things in between all these work jobs that are thankfully popping up and helping keep my family fed.
Good things that are coming your way, man. So I'm happy to hear that things are finally turning around for your.
It's good to be freaking working, man.
Yeah.
I'm not used to sitting home for 6 months. I barely get 3-4 weeks off and then turn right back and get back into the groove at the beginning of January. So only working 3 months at the beginning of the year. I'm sitting there going, what am I going to do? I was looking at getting into IT, and then most of my friends were going, you don't want to get into IT. There's no money left in it. Everybody and their brother's going to trade school. And
Yeah.
well, crap, what do I do now? Because I make good money doing what I do. And if it doesn't come back, and thankfully things are slowly starting to come back on track. So just hope and pray that it stays the course so I can get back to somewhat normal operating procedure.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to afford more Astro gear somehow.
Exactly.
It is.
Let's see. I think George just asked if there's a price for the Arco yet from Primaluce, and so far there's no price on there.
No.
I'm trying to find a price for you. I don't know if it'll be, if it's open for release, I'll let you know. But if it's not open for release, I won't say a word. But if I find out, George, I'll let you know. But right now, everything for the Arco is on order. So you're more than welcome to order it and put a deposit down for it. But I mean, as far as I know, there's no price yet. We'll find out. If we can find out, we'll find out.
They haven't officially started production of that yet, though, have they? It's still
well, it's I believe from what I've heard it's in the final testing stages.
Okay.
But hopefully by Christmas, I would think, if not sooner, it'll be out. So we shall see.
Yep.
Because I would love to I would love to go all Primaluce on my rig and just get put like a 2 or 3 inch Sato and the Arco and one thing I got a question for you. How about weather stations? As far as rain, because like in my position, I have a pier out there with no cover over the pier. I don't have a dome. I don't have anything like that. I have my nice telegizmos. But what if I'm sleeping at 2 o'clock in the morning and a nice rolling, little storm comes through? Anybody have any ideas for, monitoring and or alarming you when the weather turns uncool?
I don't have anything that'll alarm me. It's usually by then it's too late because I'll hear the rain hitting the roof. But I've been looking at doing an all sky camera on my back porch.
Okay.
So it can look up, and if it starts clouding over, to alert me. Clouds here don't mean anything because it doesn't mean it'll actually rain, because we can get clouds for 6 days and not get a drop of rain. But I'd rather it alarm me that it's reaching a certain thickness, which is more indicative of rain. But also for me to be able to see kind of what I'm missing when I'm not at home.
Right.
So I want put it on more like a webcam that'll be streamed live that I can access when I'm not at home to salivate over the things I can't do when I'm on the road again.
Yeah, I was actually looking at Technical Innovations make a rain/cloud sensor.
Okay.
That you put on the roof of your house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a pad where it notices the first couple drops of rain or mist.
Okay.
And that will send an alarm to you in your bedroom, whatever, that you could say, okay, got to get up, got to cover up or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like $400 or something like that. But I mean,
I wonder how that would work out here, though, with between our heat and the amount of dust that we get. I wonder how well that would hold up out here.
I don't know. Don't know.
Maybe we should
talk to Jerry over at Technical Innovations. I'm sure he could answer any questions that.
So say maybe we'll have to see if he wants to get some stuff for him for us to beta test or try out for him. Do some review.
Yeah. That, and I was also looking at the Boltwood cloud sensor, which is made by the people that make Maxim DL Diffraction Limited. Well, not now that they do. Now they do SBIG and a whole bunch of other stuff too. but I mean, I'm trying to figure out something that again, I'm a little bit more paranoid too. So
that's the thing. Like my photography gear is weather sealed. My Astro gear is not.
Yeah, I mean, and on top of that, I got an Eagle out there.
Yep.
I got an S-Big camera with the filter wheels and the Astrodon and Optolong filters. Not to mention all the other garbage that goes along with it. I mean, listen, the scope you could hopefully, as long as it doesn't go inside the tube, you could dry off. You're not drying off a computer.
Yeah.
You're not drying off a camera. You could save the filters, maybe not the filter wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, usually me, if I even look at the weather report, and if there's even a hint of bad weather or storms even having a chance to come, I just forget. I just forget it. I just say, all right, I'm skipping tonight, and
or I image till I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's like more than a 2% chance of rain, I'll be like, no, I'm gonna stay up a little bit.
No, and the thing here is like if it's not north of 40% chance, we're not getting rain. But there's been one of these storms where it's like, it's 10% chance, and then we get, 3/4
of rain.
No, I mean we only get 3 inches a year, so most of our storms. I think our biggest storm we might have got 1.25 inches, but when we do, the whole valley floods. Back.
You're not used to that kind of intake, so.
Yeah, well, in 2012, 13, no, had to been 14, 2014. We got 2.5 inches of rain overnight, like in 3 hours, and flooded the I-10. We were floating semis. There were cars stuck on the freeway. There was, 200 vehicles stranded in the middle of the freeway, and the south side of the valley was completely blocked from getting to the north side of the valley.
Oh my God.
It's the first time in Phoenix recorded history that they actually canceled school.
Wow.
We don't have snow days here because it doesn't snow.
Right.
Up north in Flagstaff and stuff, they'll have snow days, but not down here in the valley. So the fact that the kids got a day off, and my wife, being a teacher at the time, got a day off, which, of course, being the young spirited people that we were, we spent the day splashing each other in the backyard playing in puddles because she had a day off. Why not have fun? So we had about 3 or 4 inches of standing water in the backyard, so we went and splashed each other and got all wet.
That's interesting. Rini had said something. What about an Arduino weather station? It's like a do-it-yourself thing, and I just looked it up. It's actually pretty cool. It's a weather meter kit. Make your own weather station in 12 steps. That might be pretty cool. I'm gonna have to look that up. Thank you for that information. That's actually pretty cool. I can kind of figure that out. That might be not a bad thing. It does wind. It does.
I wonder if that's more along the lines of like the I have an Explore Scientific unit that's on the outside of my house. It does wind and rain, barometric pressure, highs and lows that I use, and it's got a display in the house that's lit through most of the night, and I can access it over the internet. But it doesn't really predict rain per se.
George says, I'll keep pestering Tom. I said, yeah, well, I just texted him, so I guess we'll both be pestering him.
George says we should just build a TARDIS-sized observatory.
And that's a tricky statement, George. You're messing with Time Lords now. You're messing with Time Lords now. And so here's the problem with that:
is the Doctor coming in
and you know what? The TARDIS really isn't that big on the outside. It's really big on the inside.
The roof doesn't open.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Scott says, there are rain coats for the big lens and pro shelters. Waterproof. But Scott, I guess the question was more geared to what happens at 2:00 in the morning when it rains and it's not expected. And I think we all have some sort of cover that we throw over our scope during inclement weather, or we're just not using it for a couple of days. And they make really thick kind of thing. It's called a Telegizmos 365. They call it the Desert Storm cover, and it's heavy duty. It's got a nice little reflective coating on the inside, and it's what is it on the outside? It's like
it's a nylon type.
Yeah, but it's rips out nylon.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like Kevlar.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty heavy. That's what's on my scope right now.
Yeah, it's heavy duty.
But I have it on there because of the temperature and to protect the gear from the elements. Because I leave the pier and my the mount attached out there all the time.
Yeah, me too.
The only time it moves into the shade is when the landscaper comes to mow the weeds.
Yep. Scott said he has one of those covers for a C-14. That thing's got to be like a king size bed cover. That's how big that thing's. I mean, mine for a 5-inch refractor is huge.
Yeah.
For a C-14.
Because he sells it in, I think it's 36, 42, and 56, something like that. I've got the medium one of the three that he sells. Yeah, for the cover and the Telegizmos. And
yep. And
I love the Telegizmos so much. I bought 2 of them.
By mistake?
No. Oh man, no. So I got one for my when I bought my 127 millimeter, I needed a larger Telegiz, for that, because all I had at the time was I had my little 71 millimeter and 8SE and my 8SE. So that was great, with my little AVX mounts and all that. It was awesome. But when I bought that 127 and I got my CGX at the time, I said, okay, I've got to upgrade my Telegizmo, to cover this guy.
I have one for my old 8-inch Schmidt, which is actually no. I have one for my 18-inch Dob, which that was huge. That was like $250, I think. And
I can't hear
it. It's just humongous, and it's heavy as hell, dude. Put that thing on a Dob. You don't even need to weight down the Dob. It's crazy. But
now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of those small. There she is. Hello. Hi.
It's nighttime, so
hello.
Daddy.
Hey there.
Can you say hi? That's Dan and Eric.
How you doing?
How you doing?
She's so cute.
Everybody on the internet. You want to say hi to everybody on the internet? They can hear you. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
Very cool.
Have a kiss. Have a good night.
Nah.
That's awesome. But yeah. Now, one thing I do want to grab. I've been talking about trying to get, talking about doing it just to get the small humidifiers or dehumidifiers, the small pocket size dehumidifiers, and they sell them on Amazon for like, I don't know, $15, $20, you know, and I've been talking constantly about getting one, but I should just go ahead and grab them, you know, especially for the summertime and stuff like that. So, do you guys you have one of those, or you guys use those at all? I mean, you probably don't.
No.
Desert, you know, so you don't have the humidity to deal with and stuff like that.
We're usually less than 30%, so it's usually not too bad.
You know, in all fairness, I don't keep my scope outside. You know, if I'm imaging, like I'll literally, unless if I know that it's going to be nice out for the rest of the day while I'm working, I won't leave. You know, I'll bring the scope inside when I wake up.
Gotcha.
I put my scope in every night. I don't leave it out.
Okay.
Like it depends. Like if it's a day that I know I'm imaging the next night, I'll take my lightweight cover. I'll cap the scope, and I'll get that little lightweight one from Telegizmos, just the silver one.
Yeah.
And I'll throw it over the top just so, you know, God forbid anything does, like the sprinklers decide to turn on, so that it's covered. But other than that, I mean, you know, I don't leave the scope outside, you know, unless if I plan on imaging that night and the day is going to be nice.
Okay. Okay.
But that's just a personal preference. It's not saying that you can't do that.
Because I know I do. I tend to leave my scope and stuff under the Telegizmo, you know, quite often, especially like during the winter. I've left my Rasa, you know, and everything all set up. And I've had it just ready to roll. And it's just sitting up underneath the Telegizmo, and it'd be there for, you know, whenever. I just power it off. It just sits there underneath it.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I think the summertime to me, I guess, because of the amount of rain we get in the summertime, I think that, you know, I'll you know, but with snow, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
You know, to kind of, you know, brush it off.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, because
I'll see this winter.
I've had moments where my Telegizmo was almost buried because we had some bad snowstorms at one point. It was buried and it was nuts, but everything still worked.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Rainey puts a desiccant bag under the beads, with the beads under the cover under the pier. So so no humidity there.
Okay. One of the things like with the Rasa, which makes it you know, because I was curious about it, because I have my aluminum dew shield and I have the cover and everything. However, one of the things that I've been dealing with has been condensation on the sensor.
Okay.
And, you know,
so we saw your thumbprint.
Yeah, and it was crazy. Have you guys seen the pictures?
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. But then eventually, but I'll have to take off, and I don't know if it stays that way or if it's longer to acclimate, because if I take the dew shield off and let the air flow through the fans and everything like that, then it starts to regulate a lot faster than with the dew shield on.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because of that. And then I'll put you know, and I still have to wait, you know, like maybe 45 minutes for that thumbprint, you know, to eventually go away and stuff like that. And then I'll put the dew shield on, and then I'll, you know, get to imaging and stuff like that. But yeah, one person that actually suggested that I maybe have to reach out to ZWO, because there could be actually something up with the sensor, you know, because and you know, because it could be
on your 533 though, right?
No, this is on the 294.
294, okay.
Yeah. So no problem with the 533 so far. So this was on the 294. I mean, I've already gone through and nuked the desiccant tablets and put everything back in. But we'll see. I mean, I still had it again yesterday, even after I nuked the desiccant tablets. But, you know, I guess it was from me coming in and out with the camera. You know, that temperature change, that sudden temperature change just takes a while.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm actually going to call it, damp rid. That's a good way. That's the one.
Yeah, I just saw, you get the little bucket of damp rid.
Yeah.
I use that a lot in Michigan.
Yep.
We keep that in the trailers over the winter and stuff like that to keep the musty smell down over the winter.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, well, guys, I'm gonna call it a night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is.
Hey, listen, the Islanders won last night, so they lived to fight another day. So I was up till almost midnight watching the game, and then getting up at 6 in the morning. So I'm kind of tired myself.
And I'm hoping to go throw the 102 on and see if I can run a night of imaging
There you go.
with the beta on the 102.
Okay.
What it does.
Yeah.
Just got to figure out what the heck they want to shoot because I can't really get the Veil Nebulas very well with it.
Right. Right.
I might have to go after something a little bit smaller.
Okay. Yeah. Tomorrow, I'll like I said, I'll take the Rasa off and I'll go and put up the 127 and put the 533 up and see if I can get for the Cave Nebula. Do some narrowband.
Are you gonna go for the cave? Yeah.
Yeah, see if I can. I'm gonna check everything on my favorite site, Telescopius, and make sure I've everything will be good to go. And then I think tomorrow night because we're gonna have a nice night, and it's a new moon, So I think I'm gonna just go after to do some narrowband. Not that I can do narrowband anytime, but I just get a new moon and I'm just gonna go for it. Just have some fun.
There you go.
So
Yeah. All right.
all right, guys. Well, it's been a blast, AstroWorld.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We'll get some bugs worked out this week, and hopefully we'll have things back somewhat a little bit more under control and on time next week.
Yeah.
Just in time for Jason to go on vacation again.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll actually be working. I get vacation the week after.
There you go.
But no, I appreciate everybody's patience. I'm glad that we got a good view on tonight, and hopefully we can get quite a few viewers throughout the week. So from Arizona, thank you very much. Appreciate seeing you guys again. It's been a little bit. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, and one thing I'll also say before I leave here is if you guys have any comments or anything like that, or any thoughts as far as subject matter or anything like that, hop onto the Facebook page on AstroWorld TV or even here in YouTube and throw some questions out there about subject matters you guys are interested in. And we'll be more than happy to research stuff and and give you whatever information we can find out. And have a good conversation about it too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
absolutely.
if you've got insight into it, we'd like to have you on the show as well. So we'll get
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah, this is not just us three. We definitely like to have other people on, and as we grow and we'll definitely have a lot more people on. So we got some guests in the wings. So hopefully I can make an announcement on dates real soon. I know, Eric, you're working on somebody. I'm working on a couple.
We'll see.
I'm actually working on one that's trying to give me some pointers on how we can update the back end of the show a little bit. So
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, guys. So remember, guys, keep imaging, keep educating, keep having fun, and we'll see you next week at 9 p.m. on AstroWorld TV. And I'm going to bed. So
clear skies, everybody. I'm going to catch some disease.
And go image, Jason.
Yep.
All right, guys.
18 here. So
Yeah, right. All right.
Okay.
Have a good night.
5
See
minutes
you,
until
buddy.
ISS flies over. So.